Let's take a journey back in time. We're talking way back, about 3,500 years, to meet a prophet whose ideas are going to sound, well, shockingly familiar. His name was Zarathustra, and his vision of the world, you could argue, shaped our own more than almost anyone else. Think about some of the biggest, most fundamental concepts in religion today. You know, that cosmic struggle between good and evil, the idea of a heaven and a hell, a final judgment waiting for us when we die. For billions of people, these are the absolute cornerstones of their faith. But have you ever really stopped to think about where they came from? I mean, they had to start somewhere, right? Who was the first person to lay out this grand vision of the universe, of morality, and what happens to us in the end? Well, the answer goes back so much further than most people realize. It doesn't start with the major religions we're most familiar with today. Nope. It all starts with a single, ancient prophet who had a totally radical vision for all of humanity. And that man was Zarathustra. To really get a grip on his impact, you just have to look at this timeline. He lived around 1500 BCE. That's centuries before Moses, and more than 1,000 years before Jesus or Muhammad. It puts his ideas at the very, very root of so many spiritual traditions that came after him. All right, so let's start at the very beginning. Who exactly was this ancient prophet of light? Zarathustra, who you might also know by his Greek name Zoroaster, was a Persian prophet. Now, he was born into a world that was full of different gods, all these complex rituals. But then, after a series of really profound visions, he started preaching something completely different. A radical new message: there was only one single supreme God, Ahura Mazda, the Lord of Wisdom. And this brings us right to the absolute heart of his message. For him, everything came down to a choice between truth and a lie. See, at the core of Zarathustra's teaching is this powerful dualism. He saw the entire universe as a kind of cosmic battleground between two opposing forces. On one side, you have Asha, that's truth, order, and light. And on the other, you have its total opposite, Druj, the embodiment of the lie, of chaos and darkness. And he taught that every single one of us is called to pick a side, to stand with Asha. And here's the kicker. This isn't about fate. It's all about choice. Zarathustra's most revolutionary idea was that every single person has the free will to choose their side in this cosmic fight. And your choices, they don't just shape your own destiny, they literally help shape the destiny of the entire world. And he made this choice incredibly straightforward. Siding with Asha, with truth and goodness, boils down to a really clear three-part ethical compass. Good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. It's such a simple but profound guide for how to live a moral life. So, how did these ideas create such an unbelievable legacy? Well, they didn't just stay put in ancient Persia. Oh no, they sent ripples out across all of human history. I mean, just think about these concepts for a second. The belief in one God, a judgment after you die where all your deeds are weighed, the concepts of heaven and hell as a direct result of your choices, the existence of angels and demons, even the idea of a final great renewal of the world. Zarathustra introduced all of them. And this is why his influence is just so massive. Historians, theologians, they all pretty much agree that these powerful ideas became foundational for the Abrahamic religions that came later: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Zarathustra's vision really laid the theological groundwork for so many of their core beliefs. So, okay, why does this ancient prophet from thousands of years ago matter to us right here, right now? Because his message is basically a timeless moral compass. First, it's really important to know this isn't just ancient history. Zoroastrianism is a living religion. It's practiced today by communities in Iran, and maybe most famously by the Parsis in India, who keep an eternal flame, a symbol of purity, burning in their temples. But beyond the religion itself, the central message of Zarathustra's philosophy is as relevant today as it's ever been. In a world that can feel pretty chaotic, his message is this powerful reminder that our individual choices actually matter. That truth matters, our actions, our words, even our thoughts. They have the power to push the world a little closer to light or a little closer to darkness. It all comes back to this one simple, powerful mantra. It's not about some complicated ritual. It's about a daily commitment to integrity. Just think about it. What if we all actually tried to live by this? Good thoughts, good words,
and good deeds. What kind of world could we create then?